Because of the nature of this talk and what it is for, in the end, which is a conversation as part of Peace Week in September and Unity Week leading up to that, I wanted to make sure that I said to everybody, if there's anything you want to say, I would like to hear it. If you have any questions or anything from this experience that you don't understand, I'm totally open to answer questions or hear you.
Do you love the city more or less now?
Thank you for asking that, John. I didn't love it more for a long time. It took for me in the last week to walk every day and think about this to fall in love with it again. I was angry at it for the first few months after the walk. But now I love it more than ever because I'm now looking for the beautiful moments and picking up the trash. Yeah.
Did you have more, you talk about South LA, you walk through South LA, but I assume you did other areas as well?
Yeah.
So what were the areas you walked through? Because you say they're friendlier in the South.
Yeah. So I started at Santa Monica Pier and I walked through West LA, down through Inglewood, down Compton Creek area, down to Long Beach on the first day. And then on the second day, I started again in Long Beach and walked all the way up through South LA, up to Los Feliz. And then on the third day, I walked from Los Feliz through to Van Nuys, and then back down into Hollywood, and ended there. It's a long walk. Yeah, it was a long 103 miles, to be exact. Yes.
Do you feel more seen in certain neighborhoods than other neighborhoods?
Yeah, 100%. With the seen and also looked at version of that, I felt really looked at and seen in Watts and South LA. People were more curious. And I think that there was this sort of can we help you look to it, which I chose to be grateful for. In West LA, no one noticed anything. All of that, none of that. I mean, I guess also I have to accept that I looked more like I, was meant to be there. And that's the thing that makes me so mad about this. And I think by the end of it, I couldn't notice anybody. I was in so much pain by the time I was coming down that I was just get to the wall. So yeah. Joe.
You mentioned, towards the end, soon it'll be time to get out and walk again. And then you also mentioned you didn't meet your goal. So I'm curious about what you might do differently next time, or if you really do think you'll walk 100 miles again.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. That was so obvious to me immediately, and has taken a long time. It's really interesting. I fight between the feelings of wanting to run away for a while, and that's part of the rest part. If we keep in the work and we're always doing the work, we never get time to think about whether it's effective. And I really want to take some time to check that we're being effective. So I do think I'm actually going to, I wasn't just saying it, rest, and make sure that the stuff that we do, because as some of you know, I do so many different things, and I'm not doing it to do it. I want it to be effective. And I think that a lot of us need to stop trying to do it and spend more time asking, is this really working? So I'm going to do that. But as far as walks go, I knew immediately, and I will never do anything like that again unless it's a team thing. That this is all of us doing something together and inviting each other, because when one person takes it on, you only have the few people around you to join you. And that's never the point. We're so much stronger in numbers. So it would be, look out for the relay email. That'll be coming next. Yeah.
Has your willingness or ability to ask for help been affected by having done this
Completely, Doug. I think evidenced in the fact that in this room are a number of the people that were the ones, including you, who helped me. It shows me that when you ask for help, that is in itself an act of friendship that we so often mistake as being a burden. And I was brought up to believe that asking for help was making yourself a burden. But I've been on the receiving end of requests for help so many times, and I felt so much more love for that person when they asked. So I'm training myself to trust that. I mean, and here's Joe and Michael and Deb and Andrew and Zachary, who are all here to help. So I guess it's working. Oh, yeah.
I assume you ran into what we call walls during your trip. What was the motivation to get past the first wall the same as the rest of the walls, or was there a different thing that?
From the professional sportsman, what a perfect question. There were so many walls, and it was a journey going through each of them. It was almost like a shedding of the ego, I would say, in each one of them. Because the first one was like, I said I was going to do this. I'm just going to do this. I have to prove to everyone that I can do it. Because the pain really started at about mile 20, when those orthotics were burning my feet and the knees were hurting. And I realized we'd misjudged the first day, and I still had like 7 hours to go. And, or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But that one was all like, I said, I'm going to do this. I can do this. I'll totally do it. The second day was more, I had to let go and just allow the wall to be there the whole time, because I was in the middle, right? There was no sense of like, this is just the beginning or this is just the end. And I had a number, like Maria's moment, huge help for me. Having Manon and Emily with me through downtown LA was such a help, and just allowing myself to stop thinking about it and just like saying, I have to, I'm in the middle, I can't stop now. And it was Dwayne, 100%. Nothing in me wanted to finish on the third day. Every part of me was thinking, I literally tried to trick myself. I was like, I'm that person that always has to finish things. I always have to bust through the wall, right? Maybe the lesson for me is once in my life, I can just give in to pain. Maybe that's the lesson. But once I met Dwayne, I just kept on telling myself that I got to rest after this. I'll get to ice my knee. And that was what got me through.
What's the name of that cricket player?
Glenn McGrath. You can look him up later.
What was the rhyme you had?
Ooh, ah, Glenn McGrath. Ooh, ah, Glenn McGrath. Yeah, why not?
Did you ever feel unsafe?
Only one moment, sort of. And I had Robert with me. So I was grateful that I had a big male friend, with all respect. You're not big, you're tall. A larger man, shaped person with me. That just made it worse. I'm trying, Robert, sorry. You will go through therapy later together. He came and joined me when it got dark. So I realized on the first day that it was going to get dark. And I was walking along the Long Beach path where everybody that we passed pretty much was either experiencing homelessness or doing something they probably didn't want people to see, or a few really wild people that were working out with, flashlights and stuff like that. But it didn't feel very safe. The environment did not feel safe. But that was when the hi, how are you thing was my tool. And we both experienced it. You'd sort of come across people that were, doing something, trying to hide something. And I'd go, hi, how are you? And you just sort of see them go. So what could have felt unsafe was an immediate like, oh, they're friendly. Okay. So I don't know whether it was the tall person with me or that, but that was the only time the darkness felt a little unnerving, but the rest of the time, not at all.
Also to say she's just very disarming as she's walking down the street. She just pops that smile, says, "Hi, how are you?" You know. It worked magic every time. I was like, I'm glad I had her there to protect me from
You're welcome, Robert.
Thank you. I have try and shape this question as best as I can. You said that people are tired and they're doing the best that they can. And I can see the pain where you want more. You want it feels like you want people to do more, but they're doing the best that they can. And just kind of wanted to highlight the conflict of that.
Oh, yeah.
One of the beautiful things about you that I love about you, and I don't know if you take this into account, you work very, very hard to learn to empathize. You put yourself through you are so driven to get to know the hearts of people, to, I don't know, feel the entire world, especially the people who are in pain. A lot of people just want to get through their day. They're not anywhere near as driven as you are. I'm super thankful this here that you can bring this example to us. We learn through you, and that's a gift, because in a way we don't have to do the work that you did to get there. So thank you for that.
So I have an answer in your lovely comment/question, and thank you. What's hard for me, and that is I don't want it to be that way. I don't want to be weird. I want to be normal. I know. I wish that everybody did that. I didn't want to be here, And for that reason, that's why I did the clickbait version of this talk, the 60 things I learned. Because what I did learn is I think we're all trying to do all 60, and that stops us from doing one. I think we, in general, feel so pressured to be better and do better and be kinder and not lose our temper because we are so tired that we don't allow ourselves the compassion of just doing one thing. And my hope was that if people could learn one thing or take one of the 60 and just simply catch themselves turning away from someone and smile instead in the grocery store tomorrow, you've already done something. And I think that we stop ourselves from doing the little things, which is the point of all this, because we can't do the big things and we feel so overwhelmed with life. And so my hope was that if we just focused on taking 10 more seconds to look at somebody, or even 2, you don't need 10. When you look at someone and you judge them, and take 2 more seconds and go, should I judge them? Maybe they're in pain today. Or, who in my world, even my friends, can I help today? Or who can I thank for helping me? There's so many little things that we do that we don't do because we think we're alone, I think, in these feelings too. There's something in our brains. It's like I said, when you're alone on the street, you notice, you go inwards, right? When you're in pain. And when you go inwards, you think you're the only one. And it's so important to do that second part, to reach out and realize that we're all of you are tired. Isn't that just something you could look at someone else, and even if you don't say it, just go, gosh, everyone else is tired. And it might mean you're just not so often we're short with people, or we get frustrated with someone for cutting us off in line, or on the phone when we pick it up, we're just not the kindest version of ourselves. And my hope is that if in one moment in your day, you just for 1 second realize that just like that person in front of you, they're tired and you're tired, you might smile at them. And And as much as I've been saying this for years when I talk about issues around homelessness, I actually think that's an answer to ending homelessness. If we all treated people on the street like they were humans, and hundreds of people did that every day because each time we did it, we were doing it once, those people would start feeling like they matter and behaving like they matter and able to ask for help eventually. So the ripple effect of a smile or taking 2 seconds is so huge when it's an entire 13 million people all doing it once in a day. That's what I believe.
I'd like to tell you what just came in my mind as you were saying that. From taking care of yourself. And I'll speak for myself. I have learned through society, family, culture, and all that stuff, how to be very inhumane with myself. And I've worked for a very long time, as you know, to be better to myself, be kinder to myself. And so that what you said, that statement about taking care of yourself, I think maybe that is really the thing of it. Like just, if you can deal with all the things that you reject and find humanity to them, all the places that it's not okay to be something, or somebody told you this was bad or whatever it is, and you can find the peace in there. At least I know for me, I wouldn't be reacting to seeing it everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's all mirrors showing me these things, and if it's a no-go area, I don't want to look at that person's face because I don't want to experience this thing on the inside of me. So, yeah, I really do believe what you said. Probably make the most of this.
Yeah. It's so hard to admit it. It's so hard to walk 100 miles across LA, spend years being a social change nonprofit owner, and realize the answer was to take care of myself. That's a hard thing to say out loud. But it's true, because if you love yourself, you can't not love someone else. You just can't. If you want the best for yourself, and you do that in a wholesome way, you don't have time to dislike anyone else. It doesn't make sense. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Zachary. Thank you, Ariella and John, for the front of house. And I needed to have you here today to do this so that we can share it with others. And I just appreciate you because I know what it takes to come out on a Wednesday when we're all tired. Thank you.